Welcome back, tribe. Have this video here from Jamie Robbins. He says he locked himself in a room until he made $1 million. How'd he do it? Let's find out.
There was a time not too long ago when I had $50 to my name. I was dressing up as a penguin while playing drums for minimum wage, getting home at 4 a.m., waking up at noon, vaping my brains out, and drowning in video games. I was skinny, broke, and feeling pretty stuck in life. Fresh out of uni, I thought I'd have the world at my feet. Instead,
he got 297,000 views and he posted this 5 days ago. Very cinematic here. He's doing really good so far. Guys, that you want to take notes if you got a inkling of doing stuff online, cinematography, videos, anything, YouTube, just look at the way he's filming himself while he's narrating over. It's only a 9-minute video.
I was left wondering where I went wrong. I thought I'd go the traditional path. However, it didn't take long to realize that this wasn't for me. So there I was in winter of 2022, going through old bank statements. I saw $45 spent on alcohol and thought, how the hell did I afford that? It really hit me. I was doing better financially the year before, back when I was dabbling in making money online. And I wondered, why did I stop? I'd given up on it. And now I was paying the price. That moment was the wake-up call, realizing that I'd let myself slip so far. Before I knew it, my social feeds were now a constant barrage of advice, motivation, and tough love. I knew it was time to make a change. I realized no one was coming to save me, no one was going to give me a handout, and if I wanted a different life, I had to build it myself.
Fact.
Some people hear the term self-development and immediately roll their eyes, thinking it's all a bit cringe. But let me tell you something. If you think you can become successful while holding on to a skeptical, closed off, or limiting mindset, then you're fooling yourself. Here's what I've learned. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, it begins with changing who you are at your core. For years, I kept asking myself, why am I not making more money? Why
Very
isn't this
cinematic.
working? Life isn't fair.
Dude, these take forever to do. I mean, he's got to run back and forth constantly, put his camera on a tripod. It looks stupid when you're actually doing it, but when you put it together, it's nice. Very film-centric.
But the penny finally dropped. If you don't have the right foundations, it doesn't matter how hard you work, you're not going to get there. You have to start from a clean slate, erase the limiting beliefs, and reprogram your mind for success. This means undoing years of conditioning, breaking free from the narratives and beliefs that have been holding you back, often without you even realizing it. So, I started hitting the gym consistently and completely immersed myself in learning, devouring books and podcasts about how I could improve each day. It wasn't just about absorbing the information, but about applying it, pushing myself to grow and slowly setting myself on the right path.
What did he learn? Come on. What's the secret?
With my mindset finally shifting and my habits beginning to solidify, I knew it was time to push myself further. It was time to lock myself in a room and get to work. I made the decision to cut out all distractions, completely isolating myself and dedicating every waking moment to building something real. Every day, I followed the same relentless routine. Wake up early, hit the gym, and then lock myself away, working for 12, sometimes 14 or 15 hours straight. This wasn't just a short burst of effort. It became my life for months on end. I rarely saw...
You know, this follows the principle that I've been telling you guys. Time plus effort equals success. If you put in maximum effort and maximum time into any single thing that you do, you will succeed. That's the formula. It is. If you don't put enough time into something but maximum effort, you won't succeed. Likewise, if you put maximum or very little effort but maximum time, you won't succeed either. If you put a little bit of each, you won't succeed. Or maybe you will, but it takes a lot longer to get to the success. But what he's doing is he's shortcutting. I mean, you could consider it a shortcut, but really he's just applying like the universal rule to get there. Maximum time, maximum effort, and you will get success in short order. It's true. If you look back at everything you've ever tried to do in life or, you know, things that you've attempted, most people, if they're brutally honest with themselves, really like be objective about it and give yourself like a percentage. How much time did you dedicate to that thing and how much effort do you think you put in percentage wise? Rarely will people say 100 and 100 on each of those. People are like, I put maybe like 30% of time in on this and like, I did give it some effort. I probably like 70%, but the reason you don't go 100% all in on something is it's fear of failing, fear of, what that means. That's an ego shot that if you really dedicated yourself to something and failed anyways, that you're a loser. That's what's holding the people back.
For my friends, barely spoke to my family. The world outside my room started to fade into the background. My focus narrowed down to one thing and one thing only: making this business a reality. There were no weekends and no days off, just the same cycle over and over again. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't Instagram worthy, but it was the reality of what it takes to build something meaningful from nothing.
Launch day.
The day finally arrived. Launch day. This was the moment everything was supposed to change. I had poured every ounce of my energy into this business, and now it was time to see if it would all pay off. I'd love to tell you it was an instant success, but that's not how it went. The first day brought in almost nothing. After all those months of grinding, I remember staring at my screen thinking, is this it? Was all that work for nothing? But instead of letting myself get discouraged, I looked for ways to improve. My marketing was weak. After attempting to run ads myself for
Look, that's another key. When obstacles come your way and you hit little roadblocks while you're building up your business, you don't just quit. You don't just let off the gas. You're just objectively looking at what went wrong or what could be improved. You said marketing sucked. Okay, well, all right. That's one problem we can solve right now. How do we improve marketing? If you take this tenet of constantly improving weak spots, you will have a strong business in the end. And that's what he's doing. So I'm going to guess he fixes marketing and his business explodes. Look, he's got 1 year later. There you go. Yep.
while and losing almost all of my money, I decided to go back to the drawing board. I knew my strengths were in the creative process, not in the technicalities of paid advertising and media buying, so I took a risk and outsourced it, using every last penny I had. It was a gamble, one I was willing to take, and it paid off. Slowly but surely, sales began to pick up. It wasn't the explosive success I'd fantasized about, but it was real progress. By the end of month 5, I'd hit my long-term goal, my first £10,000 month in profit. It was a milestone that changed everything. Things got more consistent and were finally starting to pay off. I was ecstatic, of course, but I wasn't about to get comfortable. The first thing I did was move out. Not because I hate my family or anything, but because I knew I needed my own space, a place where I could truly focus, lock myself away, and dive even deeper into what would become one of the most transformative seasons of my life. Hitting that 10K month in July was a major milestone for me, but I knew it was only the beginning. Once I got a taste of this freedom, I did everything I could to avoid ending up in that penguin costume again. I knew I had to.
That's another key. See, it's the penguin costume thing that's haunting him. You have to have something like most people, you want to avoid the rock bottom moment, but some people have the rock bottom moment, and that's what propels them to success. So that dude just constantly, through the fear, the torment of being in a penguin costume is what drives him to go. Even on the slow months, even the first, he said 5 months or so, where he's not getting any sales, hardly anything at all, until he's finally hit his goal of, 10,000 pounds in a month or whatever it was. But those slow moments, guys, you just have to keep trucking through, knowing that it could be worse. You could be back into your old life. Anything's better than that. That also helps propel you forward.
To go harder, aim higher, and build something even bigger. That only meant one thing: locking myself in a room. Again. I settled into my new space, preparing to hibernate like a hermit for the next 4 months. My days were about to become a blur of early mornings, long work sessions, and an embarrassing number of delivery orders. This time around, it wasn't just about maintaining what I'd built. It was about scaling up, praying for the biggest opportunity of the year, Q4. Black Friday was looming, and if I wanted to capitalize on it, I had to get back into that intensive, all-consuming grind that had gotten me this far. So that's exactly what I did. I got back into my routine stronger than ever, waking up early, hitting the gym, and then diving straight into 12 to 15 hours of work. The truth is, this is what being an entrepreneur really looks like. There's this notion that entrepreneurs spend their days partying on super yachts and driving Lambos, but the reality is far less glamorous. The vast majority of successful entrepreneurs have walked a similar path, one where laser focus and unwavering discipline are the only options. I knew that every late night, every grueling work session was bringing me one step closer to the results I wanted. By the time November rolled around, I was more than ready. The new product line was launched, and the results were explosive. 20x what I'd done back in March. It was the validation I needed, proving that all those months locked away had been worth it. But even then, I knew this was just another step in the journey. I could see clearly now that this was the beginning of something much bigger. Just over a year after starting this venture, I crossed the 7-figure mark. Truthfully, this was not a milestone I expected to hit so soon, but it just shows you how much your life can change within a year if you put in the work.
Yep.
Although with that said, I'm not here to pat myself on the back or pretend I've got it all figured out. There's people out there who make this in a month, a week, or even a single day. And when you let this sink in, it'll humble you.
That's another one, man. It's realizing that there's levels to this. Even though you become successful and you might hit these milestones, you look up, always have a figure that you're looking up to that's like absolutely crushing it, the top 1% guy in your business, and realize that you're barely one stepping stone in a vast array of steps to get to that point. Because if you get complacent, that's when your business starts to fall apart. And does he 10x from here again?
So when the numbers ticked over to 1 million, the euphoria lasted a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Sure, it sounds flashy, but does it actually mean anything?
Nope.
The answer is no, not really. I realized that crossing this milestone didn't make me feel any different. I wasn't suddenly successful, nor did I feel like I'd made it. The truth is, the title and the numbers are just that, numbers. They don't define success or happiness.
Yep.
What truly mattered, though, wasn't the money itself, but the freedom it brought. As humans, we don't really care about the numbers on the screen. It's the freedom those numbers represent that really matters. Sure, you might want to splurge on the occasional treat, but the most valuable thing 10 to 20K per month provides is peace of mind and the ability to live life on your own terms. This is something everyone should strive for in today's world. In this golden era of online entrepreneurship, reaching 10K a month isn't as difficult as it may seem.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's always going to be easy, but my point is, if I can do it, then anyone can. The biggest obstacle will always be the one in our heads. That's one of the most important lessons I've learned so far. It's not about luck or knowing exactly where to start. There's no magic secret. What you need to do is simply start. Learn as you go. Everything you need is already out there, but the real challenge is overcoming your own mental barriers.
He literally encapsulate everything I tell you guys in 9 minutes. That last literal 2-minute portion is everything I constantly repeat for people until it gets drilled in their heads. You are your own limitation. That is it. You could literally, in the advent of the internet, you could make anything happen, any business. Are you willing to lock yourself away in a room, at least when you have free time, to figure out what it is that you want to do? There'll always be naysayers, guys. There are going to be guys in the comments saying, yeah, well, we can't all just sit in a room. I got responsibilities, blah, 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 blah. Somebody's always going to make an excuse of why they're stuck in the position that they're stuck in.
If there's one thing I want you to take away from my journey so far, it's this. Getting what you want in life is all about sacrifice. I locked myself in a room and lived an extremely regimented life, but now I'm entering a new chapter, one where I can finally step out of that room for a while and enjoy the fruits of my labor. I'm still working hard on my goals, but now I'm doing it with a newly found freedom to travel the world, connect with like-minded people, and create things I'm passionate about, all while supporting my family and enjoying life. But nothing truly worth having comes without sacrifice. Start now, stay focused, and never underestimate the power of locking yourself in a room.
Oh, damn.
Great video, dude. Superb. This guy's crushing. He's 24 years old. There you go. Let's see what the comments say. Curious. One of the best videos of the year, production 10, idea 10, information 10. Exactly. Absolute cinema. Yeah. Is that I never left a comment on a YouTube video, but this is genuinely one of the best videos I ever watched. Yeah, guys, look, use this as the standard for what you should be producing yourselves. Okay. The pacing, copy everything. Copy the pacing, copy the, not the dialogue, but just how he transitions through his dialogue. He only spends a few minutes on each point and then moves on to the next one and transitions. It's not hard to go get a bunch of this B-roll. You start with your dialogue first, the story that you want to tell, and then you fill it in with all the extra footage. Place yourself in these situations that go well with the words you're speaking. It can be done, dude. You'd be surprised. Not that difficult. It just takes time and effort, which people aren't willing to invest today. That's the sad part. There's a lot of people are capable of this kind of thing. Seriously, you're watching this and you're going like, I have no idea. I'm not creative. I can't do something like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Literally, you can. If you just take some time and put in some effort, you could produce something just like this. Not rocket science, dude. See, look, this hit different. Been watching a ton of entrepreneur stuff lately. Again, watching a ton of stuff, but this is the one that got me off the couch. You see what the problem is. I watch a lot, but not making any actionable steps forward. The only thing I would tell you guys for this one is be very careful about using videos like this as your source of motivation for getting shit done or starting your idea. The feeling you get from watching stuff like this is temporary. You need a drive, you need discipline or a fear like him being in the costume to push you constantly day in and day out. Use your family as motivation. Use, I don't know, something that deeply resonates with you, but is a slow burn that will be with you for months on end because it's going to get boring. It's going to get hard. It's going to get stressful. You're going to contemplate quitting all the time. You're going to wonder if your idea is stupid, if anything's going to even work. And those will be the moments where you'll need that slow burn to keep you going. Time plus effort equals success, boys. Dedicate 100% into both of those. You'll have what you want. See, video is a wake-up call. Hope you guys enjoy this one. As usual, boys, we'll see you on the next one.